This has to be the weirdest King of Game run I have done yet. I've gotten there with no packs open. I've gotten there with pretty bad decks. But today, we have cut out every single level 7 or higher monster. But not just that. That would be too easy. The Harpy deck, of course, is able to hit King of Games with no pet dragons, so we went one step further. Every single level 5 or higher monster in my deck is a normal monster. We are using the newly buffed Servant of Dawn skill, allowing Flame Cerberus to reach 2700 and Mega Xalar to hit 24. I completely overlooked Nekogal number 2. All of our low-level monsters are focused around being able to debuff the opponent's monsters. Thunder the Thunder, Seven Sword Mage, and Silver Wolf are all super important for letting our Mega Xalar clear opposing 2500s. Other than that, we are running only 1 tribute monsters, which means we have a ton of space for spell and trap cards. Of course, we need to be able to get over the opponent's monsters, so we use both Shield and Sword and Talismanic Seal Array. Then, we are running a variety of trap cards that can keep our monsters alive and buffed again next turn. Sword and Shield is fantastic in a meta filled with Noodles and Harpies. Widespread Ruin is obligatory, and we're running a 1-of Call of the Earthbound as our only limit 3 card. This is to provide some value against Magnum Overlord. This card is able to redirect the attack away from our attack position monster and into a set monster, keeping us safe from the reverse OTK. And we use a Talismanic Seal Array to get over the maximum and win the game. 2 recitals keeps our board just a little bit stickier. It isn't often we are only ending on 1 monster, but it is fairly often we'll get something like 2 1 tribute monsters and a recital, and that allows us to keep one of them around unless the opponent gets out 3 different boss monsters. So let's go ahead and hop into the first game. Our opponent opens with a pretty standard set, but we know it's a Harpy's pet dragon because they are on Harpies as revealed by the Taihone. We bring in Flame Cerberus, boost it up to 2700, and get in with a Mega Xalar. Unfortunately for them, they don't draw any monsters. They tribute to the Doomed, and we get in for a ton of damage next turn. Not quite game, but then they concede. I would say our first game, we got pretty lucky. Let's see how game number 2 went. It's their move, they're up first, and they summon in a Fazuzu, revealing themselves to be another Harpy player. We use Servant of Dawn, get in for a little damage, and clear one of their monsters. We didn't swing in with the Mage because they have way too many 1400, 1200, 1100 defense monsters. They bring in a Sisters and get over my attack position monsters, and we don't draw any bosses. We have to play around Hysteric Force, being able to flip one of our monsters face up. So we use Thunder the Thunder to get in for a little bit of damage while keeping one monster in attack position. They make a really questionable play, tributing off their Harpy Lady Sisters for another copy, after they accidentally change it to defense mode. Our move, and we draw into a Cerberus and a Talismanic Seal Array. This means we are actually going to be able to do significant damage. Talismanic Seal Array reduces the Harpy Lady Sisters down to 1100, and Thunder the Thunder is going to be strong enough to allow us to just clear out that Taihone and swing in normally. We even have a recital to protect us. They draw for a turn, but they don't have anything, and disconnect to concede. We go ahead and set our Cerberus face down for turn number 1, keeping the Mage for whatever level 7 boss monster they decide to bring out. They reveal it is Blaster's Inferno, and they are going to remember where my Cerberus is set, but that's okay. We flip over the 7 Sword Mage, and they immediately disconnect. Our deck probably isn't all that good, and anything in game run takes luck, but we managed to get another free win here. So let's move on to game number 4. We went up with a pretty solid hand, including 2 tribute monsters and 2 level monsters. We draw into another Pocket Pikachu and swing over the opponent's board, before finding out they are on Noodles. We bring in a 3rd monster, and they only end on 2, which means we get in for a clean 2700, But then they begin to combo off with a Seahorse Carrier, 2 Flame Cerberus, and a Noodle Art reboot means our board is taking a bit of damage, but they leave that Kanon in attack mode for no reason. We pop a Talismanic Seal Ray, use Servant of Dawn, Silverwolf debuffs, and we clear the board once again. They are running a little bit low on life points. Savory is going to debuff my monster, and their skill is able to boost the Extra Spice. They burn us, but we use a Shield and Sword to close out the game. Finally, we are up against Master of A on the Cybers. They are indeed running Maximum Ragnarok. We have 2 traps to protect us, and Sword and Shield comes in a clutch. Servant of Dawn is going to let us get in for 2700. Because they are on Maximum Ragnarok, we knew that all of their monsters were going to have 100 or less defense, letting us doing in with Cerberus no problem. Then Call the Earthbound is able to save our Cerberus for another turn in a row. We activate the Talismanic Seal Array, and that is lethal. When we did this on stream, it was the first 5 games we played. I tried it off stream and went 3-1, despite being probably the worst Servant of Dawn variant you've ever seen. If you'd like to see more of my silly challenges to hit King of Games, click the video in the top left of the screen, or click the video below it to see where the algorithm takes you. Thank you so much for watching if you've made it to the end.